Minister Gregson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank the Secretary of State for advance sight of his statement? I wish I could say I was surprised by any of the contents, but it has, of course, been relentlessly briefed to the media and press over the last couple of days. It's also no surprise that once again Labour are presiding over the demise of our steel sector. Under the last Labour government, output fell 47%, 56% of jobs were lost, and today's deal now means 100% of output gone at Port Talbot, with an electric arc furnace taking, at best, Mr. Speaker, 5 years to get up and running, with some suggesting 8 to 9 years before a single new job is created, if we see any new jobs at all. This is, as the statement says, a transition, but it is a heartbreaking transition for thousands of people, a transition from people in work to people out of work. Why didn't, Mr. Speaker, the Secretary of State take steps in his discussions with Tata to ensure that the blast furnace was not closed before the new arc furnace can open? Is this really the new Labour playbook? Scrap jobs, scrap production, and become reliant on higher polluting countries for imports. That, Mr. Speaker, is not what I call decarbonisation. I must say, I do feel a little sorry for the Secretary of State, who has been dispatched here today to announce these spending decisions just a day after Labour's day of shame on winter fuel cuts for pensioners. In government, Conservatives provided a grant of $500 million towards the $1.25 billion invested by Tata Steel. At the time, this was one of the largest support packages in government history. At the time of the last government's announcement, this support was expected to save at least 5,000 jobs in the company. We worked with the Welsh Government and Tata Steel to establish a dedicated transition board to support affected employees and the local economy, backed by $100 million in total. So can the Secretary of State update on any of those job projections when he returns to the dispatch box? But further, Mr. Speaker, today's announcement is notable by the absence of any reassurance or plans for the thousands of steelworkers in Scunthorpe who may not have jobs by Christmas. Equally as notable in today's announcement is once again a failure from the government to commit any detail on the domestic production of virgin steel. He says we'll have a steel strategy in the spring when thousands of jobs and production capacity has been scrapped today. It was no surprise that last week, during the urgent question on steel, the Industry Minister failed to commit 4 times to safeguarding the future of virgin steel production in this country. I'm sure the Secretary of State doesn't need reminding that if he allows Scunthorpe to close too, we'll be the only G7 country without the ability to produce virgin steel, leaving us open and vulnerable to cheap foreign imports, particularly from China. To his credit, he has always argued against offshoring our steel industry. He conceded once that this would be a fundamental political mistake. So can I ask him what conversations he has had with the Secretaries of State for Transport and for Defence about the impact of this government's new steel policy on our national security and ability to deliver infrastructure? Can he assure the House that he's doing everything in his power to make sure we do not lose virgin steel manufacturing here in the United Kingdom? For the benefit of new colleagues, the government, then, when in opposition, were committed to a £28 billion a year of borrowing to fund their decarbonisation plans. A price tag which has magically disappeared, but a target which has not. Of this, the Secretary of State made promises to the steel industry. Where are they now? Where is that money? Is he still battling the Chancellor? We know Labour's unions are quite successful in squeezing money from the Treasury, so maybe he can send them to stand up for the Chancellor if he's having problems. But, Mr. Speaker, this government has our support to ensure the future of steelmaking in this country is sustainable. That speaks beyond Tata and beyond South Wales. Only in Labour's world can the word improved mean fewer jobs and higher polluting imports. Absolutely. So I hope the Secretary of State can return to the dispatch box and do better for UK steelmaking.